Hey everybody, welcome back. Today I'm going to be sharing my thoughts on the anime Land of the Lustrous. This is a show that just aired in the winter of 2017, and seeing as though I just caught up, finally finished it up, thought I would do a quick review about it here. Now it's from Studio Orange, who previously did Dimension W and Black Bullet. Black Bullet I have not seen. Dimension W I dropped, and even read a little bit of the manga. Probably should have done that because neither of which are very good in my opinion. But visually it was alright. And this show, visually, is stunning at times. This is definitely better looking than Dimension W, and I thought Dimension W looked pretty good at times. This show looks very, very, very good. If you're into like heavily aesthetic anime, stuff that looks very good at least, if you watch it just because of its animation, this is definitely the show for you because it's CG for the most part, but it's good-looking CG, which I never thought I would say. I generally try and stay away from shows that look like this. I've never seen Ajin, even though I've heard mixed things about it. I've heard it's pretty good. But the animation in the previews that I had seen for Ajin kind of pushed me away. And honestly, it did for this show, too, for the first couple weeks of the season. And then several of my friends and people in the dojo and so forth had said that this show was really good, and they were hyping it up. So I figured I would check it out for a couple episodes, and just watching 3 or 4 episodes turned into 6, turned into 8, and then turned into me watching all 12 episodes and really, really enjoying it. Now, if you know nothing about Land of the Lustrous, it is basically set in a far, far distant Earth, where human beings are no longer exist. In fact, most organic life forms do not exist. There's a few animals here and there, but primarily the inhabitants of Earth are these gem beings. And this is where a lot of people tie the show into Steven Universe, the Cartoon Network series, which also is about gem beings on Earth. But that's kind of it for similarities here, besides like some battle sequences and some potential, like, I guess, lesbian-y kind of romances. But that's really about it. And people keep calling this the Steven Universe of anime, and I mean, I guess it kind of is. But yeah, they're similar. If you like one, you might like the other, but that's not a guarantee. So basically, these gem beings, I'm going to say beings because apparently in the manga they they're kind of like gender neutral because Japanese does not use a lot of gender related pronouns. So nobody, I don't think, is actually referred to as he or she, even though I believe they do in the anime, and at least they sound like girls and they look like girls. So if I slip and I say she here, sorry if I offend anybody. But they look like girls, they talk like girls. I know that they're gems. They're not really people. They're all feminine looking, at least, and they have different. They are made up of different gems. As I said, there's some people made out of different sorts of materials, and they're different. They're judged based on their hardness level. That's how good they are in fighting versus how fragile they are. The lower your number, the more like fragile you are, and I believe the higher number, the stronger and harder you are to break. Now, while they can break, they are pretty much immortal. Besides that, because they can be like put back together, they're kind of just like living stones, in the sense that. As long as there is one doctor character and she can mend them using materials that kind of go along with them. Now, not everybody can use the same materials, and that was pretty interesting because you have to match up what works with who. Just like kind of real life, you can't just put anybody's organs inside you because that ain't gonna work. And here, I thought that was a cool aspect of it. Everybody in their culture has a particular job, usually based upon your hardness and kind of like your work ethic. The strongest people, the hardest people, fight these crazy-looking creatures that come down to Earth called Lunarians. And we don't know a whole lot about the Lunarians. They're studied a little bit, they're talked about a little bit. For the most part, we're kept in the dark about them. All we really know is that they come down to Earth, they're creepy looking, there's a whole lot of them, they fire arrows, and they try to break apart gems and take them off of Earth back to the moon. And they got no personality, they don't really speak, they don't make noises, they don't we know nothing about their culture or anything. It is very akin to the angels in Neon Genesis Evangelion. That's what I kept getting reminded of, where you have these beings that come down to Earth and just try and fuck shit up, and you don't know why for a while, and we gotta fight them. So some of the characters in this series, it is their job to do so, and those are the harder ones. Now, our main character, who I really like a lot, is Phospholite, or they call her Foes. They're all named after their certain gem. I don't know if I had mentioned that. And Phospholite is the weakest and the youngest. She's a couple hundred years old, which for them is really young. We got people here that are 1,000 years old. And she is really, really funny, but she's kind of like a class clown. She is the weakest, but she keeps wanting to do different jobs. She really like, and she's kind of like she's very mischievous, and she's very, she'll break the rules in whatever way she can, to a really like funny extent, because she really like challenges this kind of like hierarchy that they have that say like, oh, these people are better than you for this reason. And she kind of, well, why? They're not really better than me. I can do what they can do. So she's got a lot of like fighting spirit in her. I can see some people maybe finding her annoying, but I liked her character a lot. She's really funny. The voice actors, I watched this in the Japanese, did a very good job. Just like with all of her, she does all these like weird like noises and just different tones and stuff that she talks with. Like she'll talk like under her breath sometimes, and hopefully people don't hear. And she has no filter, and I really like that about Foes a lot. And now all these gems do follow. There is one male character in the series. I'm pretty sure he's male. It's this this guy. He is the sensei. I believe it's Kongo is his actual name. And he's the only male character in the show. He's much bigger than everybody. He looks the most human, but they never determine if he is human. They don't really determine what he is. Aside that, he is very, very, very powerful and needs to sleep, or as he calls it, meditate for hours on end. He's like so strong that he'll like whisk his hand up, and then like the Lunarian creatures will just be annihilated. Whereas when the gems fight these Lunarian creatures, they have to use swords, they gotta use teamwork, strategy. He kind of just comes along and like saves the day when he can. A lot of questions get raised about him, and I really like that aspect of the show. Is it kind of like he's the godhead of this hierarchy here, yet he's only around often when it's too late, or often when he's just gone a lot of the time, and I don't get why the gems, it's questions raised, why do the gems have to do so much work? But that unfolds throughout the series. He's kind of a funny character. Like he goes into like his naps, as he calls it, meditation, quite often. But for the most part, he's just kind of someone for the gems to sort of look up to and really rely on to survive in this crazy world where people are attacking us from the moon. So he's kind of shrouded in mystery. And there's a couple of the gems that I really, really liked. My favorite, besides Foes, is Cinnabar. And Cinnabar is, she's in charge of like the Night Watch. For this very specific reason, she can't interact with any other people. Her body, what she's made out of, exudes this poison. You can see why I like it, I guess. It exudes this poison that is literally always flowing around her. It's like this liquid. She can manipulate it, but she can't it doesn't seem like she can make it go away forever. So it'll kill the grass around her. But it's really good at killing Lunarians. She herself is very fragile, but she's still very, very strong. So she has the Night Watch pretty much just because there's nothing else she can really do, which is kind of sad. And Foes makes it her mission to someday really befriend this character and try and get her a different job. She vows to get her a different job someday where she can be happy. And of course, Cinnabar doesn't really believe it. I don't really blame her. She's been doing this for hundreds and hundreds of years. and people don't talk to her, so she's pretty antisocial. Uh, I really liked her character a lot. I like the idea of someone having to live in this isolation. It's really, really sad. But she's really strong. She has some cool fight scenes. This anime has great fight scenes in it with that great CG animation. Yeah, I really like Cinnabar. Another one that I really liked is there's a character called Alex, I believe her name is, and she is in charge of like studying the Lunarians, and to the extent that she has like all these books and books and books on them. She's just really nerdy about the Lunarians. Like whenever they come down, she like has to like be writing down stuff and so forth. And as a guy that did journalism for like a long time, I kind of like that. I like someone that has like the hunger for like knowledge. But then you learn later on that there's actually a reason as to why she's so interested in these things. Um, and another thing I really liked was development of the main character Foes. Now Foes, like at the beginning, like I said, she was kind of like a man, I don't know. I don't know how to put it. She was always just horseplaying around. She's always just like getting in the way of things. But she has a lot of development in this series. The world around her in these 12 episodes changes her so much. She is a much different person from episode 1 to episode 12, yet you still see little inklings of the person that she was in episode 1. But at that point, she is far more developed because things have happened by then. She is tasked with the job of making like this like encyclopedia, and it's basically just recording record of everything that happens. She doesn't really want the job, but she can't really handle anything else because she's so fragile at the beginning. But she has tremendous development in this series, and I just loved seeing her in episode 12. And they showed like little signs of like how her mannerisms were and so forth in episode 1, and some of those were still the same, and I really like that. So I liked the animation. The CG was good. I liked the mystery of the world. How you don't really know why this is going on. I have so many questions. Like, what happened to humanity? What happened to What happened to the Earth? Because they show the Earth, and it looks like it has like way less land on it. I don't know what the heck happened. And like, there's like talk about what the Lunarians are, but it's kind of just speculation. And we know they have their own place, but like, what's their culture like? Why are they after these gems? What is it like to live for like thousands and thousands of years like that? Generally, I don't like immortality in anime. That's something I'll talk about someday. I don't usually like it as like a plot thing. I find it kind of boring. But in this show, I enjoyed it just because they had to be like they had to be like put back together again. And then there is the chance, like when you get taken by the Lunarians, like you are, as far as we know, essentially dead. But I like that aspect of it. Now, as for what I didn't like, it needs a season 2, which we don't know at this time of this recording. I don't know if that's going to happen yet. But the series does not have what I would call a solid ending. It's an alright, like, here we go, that was season 1 kind of feel, but it leads into a lot more questions that need to be answered. And that's another thing. There's a lot more questions than answers in this show. Similar, I think, to Attack on Titan. I mean, I guess I could go ahead and read the manga, but I don't really want to. I think this is so visually stunning that I kind of want to check it out in anime form. It felt like a little bit slow at times. Just, I know it's not weird to say that about a 12-episode series, but just some of the episodes felt like they were taking forever to hit the gas pedal, to get where we were going. And it seemed like obvious where this is where we're going to go. Just let's go now. Like some of like the preparations for these like Lunarian fights and so forth. Like you knew how it was kind of going to be, and I feel like they were just kind of like filling up time. But that was only in like a couple of like the middle episodes. For the most part, the series doesn't really do that. It's a little bit of a nitpick. Like I said, I don't really like the immortality concept a lot of the time, but I think that this show does it well. I love how it reminds me of Evangelion with the Lunarians. I love the animation. The opening theme is pretty good. It's not really my cup of tea music-wise, but it's also visually stunning. The characters are really cool. You have I don't know the total number of gems, but you get to know at least like a dozen or maybe 20, and they're all really different personalities. There's one that's a doctor. There's one that makes the encyclopedia. There's one that studies the Lunarians, the villains. There's people that battle, and then there's my girl Cinnabar, who just like does the night shift and has poison coming out of her for some reason. And I don't know. I really liked it. I like the hierarchy. I love the world. I like how it looks, and I highly, highly recommend that you watch Land of the Lustrous. It was one of my favorite shows that I saw from last year. I might say it's even as good as I watched Made in Abyss. And I mean, they're kind of similar but kind of different, so it's hard for me to say that this is better. If this gets a season 2, I will be so happy, because Made in Abyss is going to get a season 2, and then if this gets a season 2, it's going to blow my mind. And I'm really hoping that happens. So please, guys, if you haven't checked it out yet, please check out Land of the Lustrous. And if you like what I did here, please check out my channel. I got a whole bunch of reviews, discussions. I got some gaming videos, some tech videos on there. Let me know down below what you guys thought of Land of the Lustrous. Please hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys next time.